Hello. In the last lesson, we discussed methods of solving linear equations. Now, solving linear equations, is it useful to our lives? Well, remember, algebra is part of our life. Algebra is a tool for getting our life forward. Everything that we do around, the way we interact with the life around us, can be done more effectively by using the tool of algebra. So algebra has great applications. In this lesson, we will see how the principles of solving linear equations can be applied in our everyday life. Applications of solving linear equations. Several problems in our everyday life can be solved by setting up linear equations using one or more variables. Now, in this case, we will now consider just one variable. In attempting to solve such problems, we will use some guidelines. Now, you notice that every time I give you some guidelines, take note of those. They will help you in solving problems in a more efficient way. Now, the first guideline, let the quantity to be determined be called x. Every problem, you will be asked to determine a quantity. All right, find this number. What is this quantity? All right, we simply answer by saying, let this quantity be x. Let that number be x. So every time you have an unknown quantity, let us call it by x. And then read the problem carefully and understand how this variable x is related to other given quantities in the problem. Very important to do that. See how the variable x is related to other quantities, and then write an equation connecting x to other given quantities. In the problem, sufficient information will be given to you to set up that equation. And of course, once you have the equation, solve that equation for the unknown. And that is the method that you can use most efficiently to solve linear equations. And then use the value of the variable to state the required answer. Sometimes the value of the variable may not be the answer. You got to then use the value of the variable to state the answer to the problem. Okay, let's do a small problem. US Senate has 100 members. The number of Republicans is 6 more than the number of Democrats. How many Democrats are there in the Senate? You can see the question you have to answer is, how many Democrats are there in the Senate? So how do we start this problem? I told you, when you have to find a quantity, let's call that quantity x. So, in step 1, let the number of Democrats be x. Alright, in the next step, read the problem and see how this x is related to other given quantities. Now look at this. The number of Republicans is 6 more than the number of Democrats. Now, the number of Democrats is x. The number of Republicans is 6 more than the number of Democrats. Therefore, tell me how many Republicans are there? The number of Republicans is 6 more than the number of Democrats. Number of Democrats is x. 6 more than x is 6 plus x. So immediately you know there are two relations connecting x to the other numbers. Find out those relations. The number of Republicans is 6 more than the number of Democrats, means that the number of Republicans equal to x plus 6. Alright, now you know that the number of Democrats is x and the number of Republicans is x plus 6. Alright, how many members are there altogether in the Senate? If you don't know, I have given it to you. US Senate has 100 members, and these members are made up of Republicans and Democrats. So if you add the number of Democrats to the number of Republicans, it must be equal to 100. X is the number of Democrats, x plus 6 is the number of Republicans. Adding them together should give you 100. Can you write down that equation? Yes, x plus 6 equal to 100 is our equation. The number of Democrats added to the number of Republicans will give you 100. And now we need to solve this equation. I have that equation again on the top of the slide. Can you solve that equation? The first thing to do is to combine terms on the left. X plus x is 2x. 2x plus 6 equal to 100. Now move this 6 to the right. You get 2x equal to 100 minus 6. And 100 minus 6 is 94. 2x equal to 94. What do you do to find x? Divide both sides by 2. You get 2x divided by 2 is 94 divided by 2. On the left, the 2 and the 2 will cancel, leaving us x alone. 94 divided by 2 is 47. So x equal to 47. We solved for the variable. Now, but that's not the answer. The answer is, you need to answer the question, how many Democrats are there? Well, we said the number of Democrats is x. X equal to 47. Therefore, the answer to your question is there are 47 Democrats in the Senate. That is the answer to that question. Alright? Now, this is a very simple way to solve application problems. Look at another one. If 3 is added to a number and this sum is doubled, the result is 2 more than the number. Find the number. Can you set it up? It says find the number. So what's the starting point? Let the number be x. And now, once you know x represents our variable, the number, use it to establish relation reading the problem. If 3 is added to a number, that will make 3 plus x. So you got a sum there, 3 plus x. What do you do to that sum? The sum is doubled. Can you double 3 plus x? How do you double a number? Alright, let me write that down for you. The sum of 3 added to a number is 3 plus x. Now look at the way I'm going to double it. Double it, I multiplied by 2. You see, the sum is a quantity. You must put that in a parenthesis. And to double it, you multiply by 2. Now, this is what is said in the first part of the problem. If 3 is added to a number, 3 is added to a number, and this sum is doubled, The result is, so this must be equal to, let's complete out here what that is equal to. The result will be equal to what? Result is equal to 2 more than the number. What is 2 more than the number? 2 plus x. Isn't it simple? Alright, that will be 2 plus x. Now watch this again. If 3 is added to a number, if 3 is added to a number and the sum is doubled, that is where you need to take care. The sum, you need to put that in a parenthesis and double it. The result is equal to 2 more than the number 2 plus x. We have the equation. Alright, let me go and write down the steps for you. Alright, 3 is added to a number is 3 plus x. And now, double the sum is 2 times the quantity 3 plus x. Don't make a mistake there. Double the quantity. Alright? And this must be equal to what? 2 more than the number. 2 more than the number is x plus 2. And this quantity must be equal to this. 2 times 3 plus x equal to x plus 2. Okay? How will you solve it? First of all, distribute the 2, right? 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times positive x is plus 2x. So the left hand side is 6 plus 2x equal to x plus 2. What is the next step? Move the x from the right to the left and the 6 from the left to the right. That will give me 2x minus x. Watch it again. X from the right moves to the left, become negative x. And 6 from the left moves to the right, become negative 6. So 2x minus x equal to 2 minus 6. 2x minus x is x. 2 minus 6 equal to negative 4. That means x equal to negative 4. What does that mean? Find the number. The required number is negative 4. You must make that statement. The required number is negative 4. Now, isn't that simple to do these kind of problems? Application problems are actually the easiest to do. Okay, you must cultivate a liking for these kind of problems. Okay? To me, I think it's very interesting. Because that's where algebra actually gains meaning. If 4 times a number is added to 8, alright, if 4 times a number is added to 8, 4x plus 8, the result is 5 more than 3 times the number. Find the number. Okay? Let's start by saying let the number be x. And now, what is 4 times a number? 4 times a number is 4x. And what do you do to that 4x? 4x is added to 8, gives you 4x plus 8. And this must be equal to, the result is equal to what? Can you tell me what that is? 5 more than 5 added to what? 3 times the number, 3x. So 5 more than 3 times the number. 3 times the number is 3x. 5 more than 3 times the number is 3x plus 5. Can you now write down the equation? Look at it again. 4 times a number added to 8 is equal to 5 more than 3 times the number. So 4x plus 8 equal to 3x plus 5. We will now move the 3x to the left and positive 8 to the right. That will give me 4x minus 3x equal to 5 minus 8. I hope this skill is now very, very clear to you. 4x minus 3x is an x, and that gives me x equal to negative 3. The required number is negative 3. Alright, let's go and look at another problem. Okay, a common problem that we very often see. An insecticide contains 95 grams of inert ingredient for every 1 gram of active ingredient. Now, what does that mean? If you know what an insecticide is, something that you spray for killing the ants. Now, most of that is simply water or something that will not kill the insect. That is inert. Inert is something that is not active. The active, or the medicine, or the poison, if you want to call it, inside that is only a small quantity. So, an insecticide may be made by taking 95 grams of water and putting into it 1 gram of active ingredient, 1 gram of poison. That means you know that if there is 1 gram of poison, there will be 95 grams of water in that group. Is that right? Yes. Now the question is, what is the amount of active ingredient in 336 grams of insecticide? Is that difficult? Well, let's start by saying that let the active ingredient in this insecticide be X. Alright, now how is the X now related? It says 95 grams of the inert ingredient for every 1 gram of active ingredient. What does that mean? It means the inert ingredient is 95 times the active ingredient. Is that right? If there is 1 gram of active ingredient, there are 95 grams of inactive ingredient. If there are 2 grams of active ingredient, there will be 2 times 95 grams of inactive ingredient. If there are X grams of active ingredient, then the amount of inactive ingredient will be 95 times that, 95X. So the amount of inert ingredient will be 95X. And now, if you add the active to the inactive, you get the total amount of the insecticide. The total amount of insecticide is given to be 336. That means the total quantity, 336 grams, is made by mixing X grams of poison with 95 X grams of water. X plus 95X therefore should be equal to 336. X plus 95X equal to 336. Well, we can solve that now easily. X plus 95X is 96X. 96X equal to 336. What do you do now? Divide both sides by 96. That gives you 96X divided by 96 equal to 336 divided by 96. On the left, the 96 and the 96 will go. you get x alone. Now on the right, 336 is 7 times 48 and 96 is 2 times 48. Well, use the method I gave you for factoring these numbers. This is what you will find. Okay, now 48 and 48 will cancel, giving us the value of x as 7.2 or 3.5 gram. So, if you take 336 gram of that insecticide, there will be 3.5 gram of the active ingredient, which is the poison. Okay? Another problem? Alright. Now we will review some elementary geometry in order to understand what goes on around us. We must have some awareness about some of the common knowledge geometry. Now, how much of geometry do you know? What are some of the common geometrical shape? Circle is a common geometrical shape. A triangle is a common geometrical shape. Rectangles are very common, is that right? So you must be familiar with some of these geometrical shapes and some quantities that are associated with it. Okay, let's review some simple examples or some simple results. The sum of the angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. Do you know that? Everybody should know that. So if you have a triangle, here I have a triangle of angle A, angle B, angle C. What this tells me is that if I add angle A to angle B to angle C, that sum is 180 degrees. This is true for all triangles. For all triangles, the sum of the three angles equal to 180 degrees. You must know that. The second result, two angles that add to 90 degrees are called complementary angles. Now, do you know what a 90-degree angle is called? A 90-degree angle is called a right angle. Now, what are complementary angles? Now, here I have a right angle. What are complementary angles? If two angles add to give you 90 degrees, those two angles are called complementary angles. Now, this is a 90 degrees, a right angle. If I divide that into two, look at this. This is angle A, and this is angle B. What do you get if I add angle A to the measure of angle B? The measure of angle A added to the measure of angle B will be 90 degrees. And therefore, these two angles, angles A and B, are called complementary angles. They complement each other. When they are added together, you get 90 degrees. Now, if I want to solve for A, I will take the measure of B to the right side. Look at this. Angle A equal to 90 degrees minus B. And now, we call angle A is called the complement of angle B. So, angle A is called the complement of angle B. Alright, let me ask you this. If angle A equal to 30 degrees, what will be angle B equal to? Can you tell me? If angle A equal to 30 degrees, what will be angle B equal to? What all you need to do is take away 30 degrees from 90. That will be 60 degrees. You see that? So that means 60 degrees is the complement of 30 degrees. You can also say the other way around. 30 degrees is the complement of 60 degrees. Alright, tell me now, what is the complement of 40 degrees? What is the complement of 40 degrees? Complement of 40 degrees is 50 degrees, because the 2 must add to give you 90 degrees. Alright, tell me, what is the complement of 70 degrees? The complement of 70 degrees is 20 degrees. Okay, let's move on. If two angles that add to give you 180 degrees, then those angles are called the supplementary angles. Don't confuse the two. Complementary angles add to give you 90 degrees. Supplementary angles add to give you 180 degrees. Now, look at this. The angle on a straight line is actually 180 degrees. If I draw a line there, I get two angles, angle A and angle B. If I add the measure of angle A to the measure of angle B, I get 180 degrees. So the measure of angle A added to the measure of angle B gives you 180 degrees. Then angle A and angle B are called supplementary angles. Now that means I can write angle A equal to 180 degrees minus angle B, and we call angle A is called the supplement of angle B, or the other way around, angle B is called the supplement of angle A. Okay, now tell me, if this A equal to, I need to go back and show you that. If this angle A equal to 90 degrees, what will angle B be equal to? You know that the measure of angle A added to the measure of angle B should be 180 degrees. So if A is 90 degrees, B must also be 90 degrees. Tell me, if A equal to 120 degrees, what will B be equal to? B will be 60 degrees. Alright, one more. If A equal to 70 degrees, what will be the value of B? B will be 110 degrees, because A added to B will always be 180 degrees. So if I give you one angle, can you give me the supplement of that angle? Alright, I'm going to give you an angle. The angle is 130 degrees. Tell me, what is the supplement of that? Supplement of that will be 50 degrees. Take away 130 from 180. Okay, let's move on. We do a problem using this now. Two angles of a triangle are equal. The third angle is 50 degrees. What are the measures of the equal angles? So you draw a picture of this. Well, here I have the picture. We are told that two angles are equal. We need to find the measure of that equal angles. So how do we start? We start by saying, let the measure of the equal angles be x. Is that right? Let's call the equal angles be x. So let each of the equal angle be equal to x. So this is x, this is x. Alright. We are told that the third angle is 50 degrees. There you are, 50 degrees. Okay, what do you get if you add the three angles? If you add this angle to this angle to this angle, it must give us 180 degrees. Isn't the problem now simple? You see, x added to 50 must be equal to 180 degrees. The sum of the three angles is x plus 50 degrees, and that must be equal to 180 degrees. And let's now set up our equation. X plus 50 degrees equal to 180 degrees. If you notice that every time I solve a problem, I am using the 5 steps I gave you in the beginning. So, can you solve this equation? X plus 50 degrees equal to 180 degrees. Combine the terms on the left. X plus x is 2x. 2x plus 50 degrees equal to 180 degrees. What do? Move the 50 to the right. And that gives me 2x equal to 180 minus 50. Or 2x equal to 130 degrees. And now divide both sides by 2. We get 2x divided by 2 equal to 130 degrees divided by 2. And of course the 2 and the 2 cancels. On the left we have x alone. What is the right side? What is 130 degrees divided by 2? That is 65 degrees. So x equal to 65 degrees. Each of these equal angles is 65 degrees. That's what it means. Okay? Another one. Find the measure of an angle whose supplement is 3 times its measure. Well, you know that if 2 angles are supplementary, they will add to give you 180 degrees. Alright, let me ask you one more time. What is the supplement of 30 degrees? What is the supplement of 30 degrees? The supplement of 30 degrees is 180 minus 30. That is 150 degrees. Alright, one more time. What is the supplement of 110 degrees? The supplement of 110 degrees is 180 minus 110 equal to 70 degrees. Okay. What is the supplement of x degrees? That will be 180 minus x. I hope you understand this. The supplement of an angle is 180 minus that angle. So if you want to find the supplement of an angle called x, it will be 180 minus x. Alright, we have been told to find the measure of an angle. So how do we start this problem? We start in the first step. Let the measure of the angle be x. And then we are told that its supplement. Okay, if x is the measure of the angle, what is its supplement? Its supplement then will be 180 minus x. And what is given in the problem? Its supplement is, that is 180 minus x equal to what? 3 times its measure. The measure of the angle is x. 3 times its measure is 3x. So the supplement of the angle equal to 3 times x. Look at the easy way we can get our equation. 3 times the measure of the angle is 3x. Now set up the equation. The supplement is, it means the supplement equal to 3 times the measure. 180 minus x equal to 3 times x. Alright, solve this equation. Now in this case, you know, very often we move the variable to the left. But if you look here, it's much convenient to move that negative x from left to the right. So this time, let's move the negative x from the left to the right. That gives me 180 equal to 3x plus x. The negative x moving from left to right become positive x. Alright, combine the terms on the right. You get 180 equal to 4x. Or now you can write it the other way around if you want. 4x equal to 180. You see, easier that way. So let's write it that way. 4x equal to 180. Divide both sides by 4. We get 4x divided by 4 equal to 180 divided by 4. And the 4 cancels on the left. We get x alone on the left. Can you tell me what is 180 divided by 4? Well, what is half of 180? Is 90. What is half of 90? Is 45. So 180 divided by 4 is actually 45. 180 can be written as 4 times 45 divided by 4, and the 4 goes. That gives me x equal to 45 degrees. The required measure of the angle is 45 degrees. Okay, that's simple enough. I'm sure you can do these kind of problems. Let's do another one. Now, if you follow these steps, I have been following these 5 steps in every problem. Another one, find the measure of an angle. Again, you have been asked to find the measure of the angle. So, we got to start by saying, let the angle be x. Alright, what is the details given? Find the measure of the angle such that the sum of the measures of its supplement and its complement is 180 degrees. Alright, tell me, if we call the angle equal to x, what is the measure of its supplement? The measure of the supplement will be 180 minus x. Alright, what is the measure of its complement? Its complement will be 90 minus x. And what does this tell you? If you find the sum of the supplement and the complement, you add the supplement and the complement, it must be equal to 160 degrees. That is what it says. Okay, let's write down each step. Step 1, let the measure of the angle be equal to x. In that case, what is the supplement of that x? The supplement of an angle x is 180 minus x. Alright, what is the complement of the angle x? Complement of an angle x is 90 minus x. Now what does it tell you to do? Find the sum of these two. Add the supplement to the complement. That must be equal to 160 degrees. So the sum of its complement and supplement is obtained by adding these two. 180 minus x plus 90 minus x. Now, can you add, remember, this is not an equation. This is an expression. Can you simplify that expression? You can add 180 and 90. What is 180 plus 90? is 270. What is minus x minus x? 2 negative x added gives you negative 2x. So this is equal to 270 minus 2x. Now this is the sum of the supplement and the complement of angle x. Now what is this equal to? That must be equal to 160, and that's our equation. 270 minus 2x equal to 160. All right, let's solve that equation. What will you do to solve that equation? Well, let's move 270 to the right. It gives me negative 2x equal to 160 minus 270. Or negative 2x equal to negative 110. We got to get x alone, so we divide by negative 2. Divide both sides by negative 2. Negative 2x divided by negative 2 equal to negative 110 divided by negative 2. Alright, on the left negative 2 and negative 2 will go. On the right, a negative number divided by a negative number makes it a positive number. What is 110 divided by 2? That is 55. So x equal to 55 degrees. The required angle whose supplement added to the complement gives you 160 degrees is the angle 55 degrees. Okay, move on to another one. Find two consecutive odd integers such that twice the larger is 17 more than the smaller. Now, what is the meaning of consecutive odd integers? Now, watch me write down some odd consecutive integers. Look at this. 15, 17, 19, 21 are some examples of consecutive odd integers. So, you are told find two consecutive odd integers. So the best way to start with this, say let the smaller one be called x. Now if the smaller one is x, now look at this. If 15 is the smaller one, then the next bigger one will be 17. Add 2 to that. Now, if x is the smaller of the odd integer, what will be the next odd integer? Add 2 to that. So, x plus 2 will be the next odd integer. I hope you understand the concept. Odd integers, the difference between each will be 2. If x is the smaller of the two odd integers, then the bigger one will be x plus 2. So how do we start? Look at this. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 are examples of consecutive odd integers. The larger one is 2 more than the smaller one. Now, is this true for even integers? Yes. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 are even integers. It is also true for even integers. So, we start the problem by saying, let the smaller odd integer be called x. There you are. Make a diagram like this. This is the smaller of the two odd integer, and that is x. Then the larger one will be 2 more than x, and that will be x plus 2. There you got the second odd integer, that is x plus 2. Now, what does it tell you? Twice the larger is, this is the way you're going to now set up the equation. Twice the larger, this is the larger. Now, how would you find twice that? Now, I told you, if you want to find twice that quantity, you need to first of all enclose it in a parenthesis. Look at that. This is twice the larger. So x plus 2 is the larger. Multiply the quantity by 2. This is twice the larger. Twice the larger is equal to 17 more than the smaller. 17 more than the smaller is 17 plus x. Alright, let's write down that. Twice the larger is 2 times x plus 2. And 17 more than the smaller is x plus 17. And according to the problem, twice the larger is equal to 17 more than the smaller. These two quantities are equal, and that is our equation. 2 times x plus 2 equal to x plus 17. Is it difficult for you to set up these equations? Alright. In the next step, we will solve that equation. What do? Distribute 2 times x is 2x. 2 times positive 2 is plus 4 equal to x plus 17. And now move the x from the right to the left and positive 4 from the left to the right. That will become 2x minus x equal to 17 minus 4. When you move terms from one side to the other, remember to change the sign. 2x minus x equal to 17 minus 4, or x equal to 13. The smaller of the two integers is 13. Therefore, the larger one will be 15. The two integers are 13 and 15. Alright, let's try another one. 2 houses on the same side of the street have numbers that are consecutive even integers. Well, the principle does not change, even integers. The sum of the integers is 58. What are the 2 house numbers? Now, that means if one number is x, the other number will be how much? X plus 2. Because they are consecutive even integers. If 4 is an even integer, the next even integer is 6. Add 2 to the smaller one. Alright, let's write down our step. Let the smaller number be x. So that's the first house. Its house number is x. Now, what will be the number of the next house? It is the next higher even integer. The larger one is 2 more than x. Therefore, the next number will be x plus 2. That's very simple. What do we now have? The 2 houses on this, they have this. Now, the sum of the integers is 58. That means if you add the smaller integer, the smaller even integer to the bigger even integer, that sum must be 58. That's very simple. The sum of the integers is x plus 2. And that must be equal to 58. That gives us our equation. Alright, simplify the left-hand side by adding the 2 x's. There you got the equation. You got x plus x is 2x. 2x plus 2 equal to 58. Move the positive 2 to the right. you get 2x equal to 58 minus 2, or 2x equal to 56. Divide both sides by 2. We get 2x divided by 2 equal to 56 divided by 2. 2 and the 2 cancels. Therefore, x equal to 56 divided by 2 is 28. The smaller house number is 28, and therefore the next house number is 30. The two house numbers are 28 and 30. I'm sure if you are given a problem using odd or even integers, always draw a diagram. Put a dot there and say, let the first integer be x, even or odd. The next one, if it is even, it will be x plus 2. If it is odd, it will also be x plus 2. But it is very important to read the problem carefully. If you are simply told that the numbers are integers, you are not told even or odd, consecutive integers. In that case, if the first one is x, the next one is then x plus 1. You see, 2 gets added only if it is consecutive odd integers or consecutive even integers. If you are told that the numbers are consecutive integers, then each one will be different by only 1. Keep that in mind when you solve problems. Another one. In a class, there are 4/3 as many girls as there are boys. If there are 42 students in the class, how many are boys? Well, again the method is, we have been asked to find the number of boys. So how do we start? We start by saying, let the number of boys be equal to x. That is the method. Find the number of boys. So we start, let the number of boys be x. And now read the problem. What does it say? There are 4/3 as many girls as there are boys. What does that mean? It means if there are x number of boys, then the number of girls will be 4/3 of x. That is the meaning. So, 4/3 as many girls. It means the number of girls then is 4/3 of the number of boys. 4/3 x. Alright? What is the next information we can use? It says there are 42 students in the class. Well, the students in the class are made up of these many boys and these many girls. That means if you add the number of boys to the number of girls, you must get 42. Alright, let's do that. The total number of students in the class, therefore, is the number of boys added to the number of girls. And that is given to be 42. Can you write down the equation now? The equation is the number of boys added to the number of girls equal to 42. Alright, tell me a method of solving this problem. You have one term with a denominator, and you need to kill that denominator, get rid of it. What do? Multiply each term with that 3. Let's go to the next slide. This is our equation. So, in order to get rid of this denominator, multiply each term by 3. I hope you understand the technique now. So, look at in step 4 what we do. 3 multiplied by x plus 3 multiplied by 4/3 x equal to 3 multiplied by 42. We multiply each term by 3. What happens now? In the second term, The 3 and the 3 on the numerator and denominator cancels. There we are. So what is the second term? It is 4x. So what does the equation now become? 3x plus 4x equal to 126. That is 7x equal to 126. Divide both sides by 7. We get 7x divided by 7 equal to 126 by 7. 7 and 7 will cancel on the left. Now how about this? 126 is 7 times 18. I'm going to ask you to do this factoring on your own. 7 times 18 is 126. Alright, so x equal to 7 and 7 cancels. We get x equal to 18. The number of boys in the class is 18. Okay, that was a good problem. I want you to practice doing that. A last one. A piece of string 59 centimeter long is cut into 3 pieces such that the middle piece is 5 centimeter longer than the shortest piece, and the shortest piece is 9 centimeter shorter than the longest piece. What are the lengths of the 3 pieces? Now, you got 3 pieces. One is called the shortest, the other is the longest, and of course there will be a medium then. So how do we start this problem? We start by saying, let the length of the shortest piece be x. Alright, so this is the shortest piece, x. Then, what does it say again? The middle piece is 5 centimeter longer than the shortest piece. So what is the length of the middle piece? The length of the middle piece is x plus 5. 5 centimeter longer than the shortest. And then, what does it say? And the shortest piece is 9 centimeter shorter than the longest piece. So, the length of the longest piece therefore is x plus 9. You see, if the shortest piece is 9 centimeter shorter than the longest, it means the longer is 9 centimeter longer than the shortest. So the length of the longest then will be x plus 9. Alright. Now, what does it say? The length of the string is 59 centimeter. That means if you add the shortest to the middle to the longest, it must be equal to 59 centimeter. Look at the way we created the equation. X plus 5 plus x plus 9 is the sum of the 3 lengths, and that must be equal to 59. So what is x plus 5 plus x plus 9? X plus x plus x is 3x, and 5 plus 9 is 14. The length of the 3 pieces added together gives you 3x plus 14. And that 3x plus 14 must be equal to 59. There you are. 3x plus 14 equal to 59. Let's go to the next slide. How do we solve it? Move the 14 to the right. 3x equal to 59 minus 14. 3x equal to 45. Divide both sides by 3. We get 3x divided by 3 equal to 45 divided by 3. On the left, the 3's will cancel. Tell me, what is 45 divided by 3? Is 15. So, the shortest piece is 15. The middle piece then will be 15 plus 5, 20, and the longest piece will be 15 plus 9, 24. So the three pieces are 15, 20 and 24 centimeter long. Now remember, this kind of problems are very important. I have seen problems like this in the final exam, so you must practice this. Okay, I'm going to stop this lesson here, and I'll get back to you with more on this unit. That will be the fourth lesson of this unit later on. In the meantime, please do all the homework. Get practice on application problems. Alright? I will see you for the next lesson later on. Lesson 10.